All right, let's see. I think we're live. We are. Hey, Roger. I'm live with Roger Deveau here, and we just had a nice little conversation about what he does, and we're going to share a lot of information for you guys. And we're super excited that he's agreed to come on and talk about the producer model, what it is, where Roger came from, and all that stuff. Welcome, Roger.
Thank you for having me, Kathy. I'm excited, just watching what you've been doing with these lives into the group and the value that you're trying to give to the group. I love seeing it. There are too many people out there just trying to promote. You're doing it the right way. And I think it's going to really show and give value to your followers and really come back and give to you as well.
Yes, I agree. This is one thing that we want to do for everybody. And since Roger is the launch of the huge list of names that I have coming in, he's kind of the guinea pig. And, we want all these questions from everybody. We want everybody to just tune in, ask a lot of questions. Roger has a lot of knowledge and he's been doing this for a while. So, Roger, you tell us where you got your start, what the producer model is, and just go with the flow.
Well, I have too many experiences and failures in my past to go over in this time, but I'll give basically the overview is I was that person who saw this world of online business and saw the people having these 6 and 7 figure launches and these overnight heroes and successes and kind of caught the bug. I saw that online business and the freedom it could give, and I really got excited to have it for myself. And it was a long process trying to figure out how to do it because I would see these people having these 6 or 7 figure launches and I would try to follow them. And I kept being told this idea that if I have something truly valuable, if I have information that can truly change people's lives, then I could package it into a course, go out, give value, and bam, I'll be successful. And that just didn't happen for me. I spent months and months at the time. I had a video studio downtown here in Ottawa, Canada. I'm a Canuck. And so I got the fancy video equipment. I shot fancy videos for a video series. I put together a course that I thought was awesome. It was just content that I knew people would really love. And after months and months and thousands of dollars, I put it out to the world and nothing, like just nothing, crickets. And I couldn't understand. I did all the things I was told to do. I was giving value. I was going out and going into groups and participating and getting out there. And I was even interviewing people and kind of doing those things, and nothing worked. It didn't happen. And I realized that my story was more common than the stories of the people having those 6 or 7 figure launches.
Right.
And so I really started digging in. What is it that I'm missing? Why are these people getting success and I'm sitting here floundering, even though I know people could, and I know this is the frustration so many people have. What I'm teaching can really help people if only they gave it a chance, if only they saw it. And that's the disconnect. And so what I realized was a lot of these kind of overnight success stories, even though, we say overnight, we know there's years and years of struggle that led up to there. But a lot of those people had things that I just didn't have. I realized almost all of them had these kind of over the top celebrity or influencer type personalities, the kind of personality that just
wild, crazy.
Exactly. It just magnetizes people in. And I've been extremely introverted my whole life. And I know it surprises people because now everything I do is live events or live broadcasts, but it's just because I've forced myself to do it. But I don't have that kind of personality where I'm going to go stir things up in groups and polarize a bunch of people. That just wasn't me.
Right.
And I noticed that these people had tons of testimonials and credibility and case studies already. And while I know anyone can go out there and get case studies and testimonials, but if you're starting from scratch, it requires doing a lot of free work up front. I had an expensive place downtown, a car lease, rent. Like I couldn't spend months and months on trying to build up a name and build up credibility and testimonials without getting paid. And I realized that these people also had a bunch of systems behind them, follow-up email sequences. They had people to run ads. These launches that do these kind of numbers, they usually have big teams. I didn't have any of this stuff. I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know where to start. And so I was feeling very deflated. I just didn't know what to do, where to turn, had no idea what I was going to do to make money. My course was a flop. It wasn't doing anything. And so I decided to actually do something similar to what you're doing. And I just said to myself, you know what? I want to help people. It's what drove me to start this in the first place. I'm just going to do something of value. And
Right.
so at the time, I just reached out to some of the people I've been following, my mentors online, people I looked up to, and I decided to throw a little virtual summit. And this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't even know what a summit was at that point, but I just knew I wanted to get these people who had inspired and changed my life and get them in front of as many people as possible. And so I did a summit, and it was horrible. I was bad at it. I'd never really done interviews. I was sicker than I've ever been doing half the interviews, so I pale and looked like I was on death's bed. My servers crashed 3 minutes before it went live. Yeah, it was everything that could go wrong went wrong. This thing was by all means a complete failure. But importantly, I was able to make some real cool connections with the experts that I had on. And after the summit and after I did these interviews, two of the experts came up to me and basically said, hey, listen, I've been wanting to get my message online, because these people were best-selling authors or consultants, and they only get paid when they're on stage speaking or in front working one-on-one with someone. And they loved what they did. But after 3-4 years of doing that, it starts to get to the point where they're like, all right, how can I start automating this thing? So even though what I did was horrible and basic, to them, it was, hey, you know how to do this online stuff. Can you help me get my message online? And I had no idea if I could actually do this for them. I was a super beginner at this. I definitely had no idea if I could do anything that would actually make sales for them, because I had just completely flopped on my own. So instead of charging them for this, I said, why don't we do this? I'll do it for you. I'll sit down with you. I'll help you figure out what I think you should put online and help you figure out how it works. I'll do the tech side. You just show up, do what you love to do anyway, and teach it. And we'll split any sales that we make. That way, if it doesn't go anywhere, we're not really out anything. You at least have something that you could just even give away for free as a bonus for people signing up to your list or something. So you get to give value, and no one's really out anything, no hard feelings. And this was literally just because I didn't have the confidence to charge them for it. And so they did it. And that was the beginning of the producer model for me. Because what the producer model is for all those people out there that have been starting to learn and study building an online business, and just like I was, and I had a basic understanding of how to build an online funnel and the general understanding of how to market it, but I just couldn't get the traction. I couldn't get it to launch myself. What the producer model is take someone like that and partners up with an expert, a subject matter expert who knows how to sell to their market, has a list, has the credibility, wants to take their information and put it online, but they don't have any clue of how to do it themselves. They either don't have the time to figure out how to do it, or they don't have the desire to even deal with all of that technical stuff, or they know they need to do it, but they just don't know where to turn or who to trust to do it for them. They don't want to spend thousands of dollars on someone that they don't know if it's going to work out or not.
And I
And
think
that's
the deal with everybody right now. And I think with the fear, well, first of all, like you said, a lot of people are just starting out. They don't have all the extra funds. Maybe some people have lost their job, their 9 to 5, and they're like just trying to figure something out, because there's no A to Z on how to make money online, because there's so many ways, so many avenues, so many
totally.
different everything. So finding that, first of all, you said it earlier on, whenever you said it looks like overnight successes for a lot of people, but they didn't see the trenches and the mud holes and the failures and all that, because a lot of people are afraid to share that, or they jump in whenever the person's doing great, and then they're like, well, I want to be just like him. I
And
want
a
to
lot
be.
of people teach that. I've seen it for years. I saw it when I first kind of business that I did when I was 20 years old. I got my financial license. So imagine a broke 20-year-old kid with no money or credibility trying to tell people what to do with their money. It was a tough go. But even in that, I saw it time and time again. And now I see it all the time in the online industry. People push, and do all these things and fail again and again. But as long as you learn from it, they're not really failures. The best things in my life have come from my failures. but they do. And finally they get something that works and gets them to make money and start building momentum. And then they turn around and they start teaching it. But I almost never see someone turn around and teach what they actually did. I watched their journey and I'm like, this isn't how you did it. This is how you think you should have done it. This is maybe how you think you wish you did it. And this is how you think people should do it. But there's always that disconnect because it's not actually how you went from completely broke, nobody with nothing, and actually started making an income from this online thing. It's that next step. And that's what I'm really trying to do here with the producer model now is just, this is how I started after I started getting success with the producer model. I turned around and started teaching people my launch system, which is how to take an idea and quickly turn it into a course that makes sales. And that's when I realized I was doing the same thing. That launch system only came to be because of the partnerships I made through the producer model. I would have never been able to do those things because I wasn't able to build up the credibility. I have no idea. I still barely know how to run a Facebook ad. I couldn't do these things. Writing emails and copy is like the bane of my existence. To sit down and write more than one paragraph, my brain can't handle it. So writing copy and automated follow-up sequences, trying to convert cold traffic, it just didn't work for me. What did work for me was finding an expert who would love to partner with someone like me. And I have a whole system that I'd love to even share some of that here today with people to show them how to find these experts. But there are experts out there that would love to have someone like you come up to them and say, let's partner on this thing. I'll take care of it all. You show up and teach and we'll split the sales. And that way I don't ever have to worry about traffic. They've got the traffic. I don't have to worry about credibility. They've got the credibility. I don't have to worry about trying to sell. And again, I'm introverted. I hate selling. They've got their audience wants to have more from them already. They want to buy from this expert. They just a lot of times don't have the opportunity beyond the book that the expert has for sale or their one-on-one coaching. So it's a win-win-win. Everybody's happy in this scenario. And it's a way that you can quickly go from nothing and start building your own business, making some sales, making money, and building up your listing credibility in your niche.
So let me ask you this. If someone is new to the game or newer and they're not the expert, you know that they're struggling on contacting the expert. So what do you say to those people?
I actually and again, the way that I try to do everything is for the rest of us, I call it. So like I said, in that the kind of 5% who have that overtop personality, who have no problem going out and getting 100 no's to get a yes and all that, like that is not, I don't believe in rejection. Everything I do is to try to do things in a way where even if someone doesn't want to do what I'm trying to get them to do, they're happy with the whole process and comfortable. Right. Because especially in today's world with social media, you turn one person off, that one harmless no on your trail to get a yes, that person, you never know who they're connected to, what they're going to post. When they see your things down the road, maybe they go, oh, don't do business with this guy. He's pushy, he's salesy. You don't know the harm that can have for your business. So I actually built a real simple, and I can remind me, I have a PDF people can download that walks them through the 3 steps, kind of a little cheat sheet. But I actually have a 3-step system that people can use when you want to reach out to an expert. And this is, you can use this if you want to just get interviews with people, if you want to maybe get someone to mentor you, or if you want to partner with them. And so the 3 simple stages are just, first is you want to compliment. There's not a single human out there that doesn't thrive on compliments. It's what we want. And if you think about, people are intimidated reaching out to experts. Yeah. But there's 2 things that I guarantee you, any expert you're looking at connecting with, they want. The first thing is testimonials and case studies. They want social proof. So the first thing that I do with anytime I find an expert I want to reach out to, I'll go sign up to their blog. I'll read a chapter of their book. I'll listen to their podcast episode. I'll consume some of their content and find a piece of it that I genuinely really love. I genuinely connect with it, because there's nothing worse than being generic, because every expert you want to reach out to, they've got 20 other emails in their inbox of people asking them for something. or
Right.
some generic, hey, you're great. I think you're awesome at what you do. I would love to have you on my podcast. And it's like, well, we know you just sent that to 100 people waiting to get a reply. So the first thing I do is I send a message, whether it's a Facebook Messenger, sometimes I tweet it if I can't find an email, or preferably I'll find their email through a contact form or searching online. And I'll just send them an email and I'll make it very specific. I absolutely loved your podcast episode on this. And then my message is just, I love the way you described this. It resonated with me. I connected with it. You're doing awesome work. Thank you so much. That's it. I don't have a signature linking to my podcast and blog and everything. I don't have I would love to work with you someday or anything like that. No, just compliment. And a funny thing happens when you do this. You've instantly separated yourself from 95% of the other people trying to get something from this expert, because you're not trying to get anything. You've just complimented them. You said you appreciate their work. And most of the time when you're trying to connect with an expert, they're not the first point of contact. They usually have some kind of gatekeeper or someone monitoring their emails or messages that filter out all the junk. And so most of the time when I do this, the response I get is from some random third party going, hey, I'm Bob and I'm the gatekeeper for so-and-so, and I really appreciate you reaching out. I'm going to forward this on to them immediately. And you've just broken through the gatekeeper. And that's the hardest thing for people to do when they're trying to do these things. And the easiest way to do it is by doing this compliment, because 8 out of 10 times I'll get a response within the next 24 hours from that expert I was trying to reach. And sometimes it'll be just simple as, hey, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And sometimes it'll be a little more in depth, but it's always a positive feeling and a positive reaction. So that's step one. Then I go to step two, which is within 24 hours of getting that reply. And if I don't get a reply, I just wait a couple days and send another compliment. I just keep doing it. I'll go on their Facebook and compliment on a post. I'll go to their blog, just shower people with compliments.
Right.
You can't do it too much. No one's going to get tired of it. So then step two, I still don't ask for anything. I'll reply to them. And then the goal is to add value. So now I've complimented, because I know everyone loves a testimonial or case study. And sometimes I'll even say, feel free to post this or use it. Or if you'd like me to put this in a review, I'd love to do it. But add value. The second thing that every single expert needs is traffic.
Right.
I don't care where they are in their business, what they're selling, what they're doing. They need to get in front of more people. So it doesn't matter if you have 5 followers, 500, 5,000. I always do this the exact same way, because it worked. I connected with some of the biggest experts in the online industry, some of the biggest names back when I was a complete nobody, by just following this system. I had no credibility, no name, no anything. And I got some of my mentors, people I looked up to come on and help me out just for reaching out this way. So add value. So what I'll do is then reply, and I'll just say, listen, I think everybody should hear the way you talk about this. I think what you're doing is amazing. I would love to get you in front of all my followers. So where should I send them to? And I'll have looked on their website quick, and I'll see if they're promoting a book or if they're promoting a podcast or whatever it is. I'll try to gauge what I think they're trying to build through. And I'll just put that. I notice you're promoting your book. Would you like me to send people to that? And then I just end there. And usually they'll either come back, and again, they'll say, oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, send them there. Or they go, actually, you know what? I've got this thing set up for people who are brand new to me. Why don't you send them there? Thank you. I appreciate it. You are no longer just in the category of all the other names in their inbox. You've had conversations. You're showing them that you're specific to them. You understand them. You're not just generically reaching out to every expert around. You're also showing them that you understand what's valuable to their business. You're going to make sure that you understand where they want the traffic to go into their funnel. So it actually starts prepping in their mind that separating you to, actually have an idea of what you're talking about, an idea to benefit their business. So if you do this, you've already stepped out of the league and you're beyond everyone else who just sends a message, hey, I'm doing this. I would love to have you on. That's when the third step comes, your request. And this step is actually the simplest. Again, I mentioned I hate writing more than a paragraph or two. I don't write up a big sales thing. I'll
Right.
just, again, within 24 hours or so, I'll reply to them. And this is where you make your request. And that's where, again, I'll be specific as possible. I'll say, hey, you know what? So for the producer model, I'll be very specific. I'll say again, the way you explain this thing will change people's lives. More people need to hear it. I want to help you get this message out to as many people as possible. And I notice that on your blog, you have pop-up ads as a way to try to generate an income from it. I would love for you to be able to advertise your own course. And so what I'm doing is I'm being very specific to the value I bring to them before I'm even making my ask. I'm trying to tell them, why is this valuable to you? Because I'm going to help you get in front of more people, give more value to your audience. They want it, and take those ugly ads off your site. Because if you're teaching health and you've got McDonald's pop-up banner on your site, because that's what Google thinks your market wants to see, that's not great.
Right.
And then I'll just make my simple ask and very specific about it. I would love to do all the tech and help you get your message out to as many people as you can. I'll do all the setup. I'll do all the tech. I'll help you figure out what to put into it. All you would have to do is show up and do what you love to do and teach people. And I don't want to charge you up front. We could just partner on it and split a percentage of the sales. How does that sound? And they're either going to go, hey, I'm busy, I'm actually working on this, no thanks, but hey, I really appreciate your support. Because at this point, even a rejection, you've still built such a connection with them. They don't feel bad to say no, but I've had it almost every time someone said no, it's almost like they feel a little guilty because you've given so much to them. So they'll always end with, but hey, let me know what you're up to and if I can support it, or let me know, maybe I can introduce you to some other people, or let me know when you have something going and I'll share it for you. And I've never taken them up on it because I don't want to take from them, because I just want to build the relationship.
Right.
But that's the key. Not most of the time, but probably 7 out of 10 times, I'll have someone at least ask to go further and either jump on a call with me or not. So if you just follow those 3 simple steps, it doesn't matter what you're trying to get out of the expert, it will separate you from almost everybody else who's in their inbox. And worst case, you're building a relationship. That's the worst case scenario with doing it this way. They don't ever feel like you've spammed them. They don't have an uncomfortable feeling from you. And then I just keep going back to step 1. So if someone ever says no or not right now, I'll just keep going on their social media and participating. And I've had things like that turn from a no to them getting back to me. Actually, this is how I told you I got that interview with Ryan Lee and ended up doing a couple other things with him. He said no at first. He was like, I don't do interviews at all anymore. He ended up getting back to me and he's like, you know what, the way you reached out, it was just so different. I feel that you're passionate about this and you're really trying to give value. Let's do it. And I've gone on, he ended up interviewing me for one of his podcasts. I've done bonus training in some of his courses. Like you don't get rejected doing it this way. You
Right.
just get a not yet.
Right. That's it. The key is basically over and over and over again. Don't take no for an answer, but just continue. And also, I think a lot of people forget that influencers are spammed a lot. They are just like constantly being hounded, and adding value for them is just like adding value for your tribe. You just got to figure out what that value piece is. And once this is perfect. I mean, it's what I do, and I didn't realize I was doing the producer model, but it's basically what I do to reach out to people that I would normally not reach out to, because I don't just dry hit somebody and not know what they do or where they go. People may mention their name and I'll be like, I don't know them, but I'm researching who they are, reading their stuff. Does it align with me? Does it align with my people? And, then I go in and talk to them. But it's perfect. This whole thing will work for anybody.
That's it. It's just, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. And whether you're trying to partner with them to produce them, or again, just get them on an interview, approach everything you do. I want to say it takes a little more effort, but in the long run, it actually doesn't. Up front, it takes a little more effort to do it this way. If everything you do, you approach with, how can I serve? How can I give value in this process? And I get that's hard because when you're, especially when you're starting out, especially if you've been doing this for like a year and you still haven't cracked that money code, like so many of us did, or if you do like I did and you have businesses that have high expenses when you're starting out and every month you have expenses coming out. Like I had, at one point I was running a health studio here in Ottawa. We had 3 different locations, 16 employees. You get to a point where you almost start getting desperate. And that's when you feel like I need to have it happen now, and you start skipping corners. But the problem with that is then you need to, let's say you wanted to reach with experts, you have to reach out to 40 people to get one yes, versus taking a little bit of more time in the beginning, doing it the right way. That makes you feel better anyway, makes them feel better, but you'll get way higher conversions. You'll get a lot more results. And those relationships you build will continue to grow down the road. And you have no idea what they're going to turn into. And it's happened to me every step of the way. Way back when I first started with that summit, by giving value, those relationships ended up introducing me to the producer model in the first place. I had never heard of the producer model. It was like, I just stumbled on it by accident. Nobody's talking about it out there. If you try to even research it, you'll probably just find my stuff that I'm putting out now, because it's for some reason, it's in the background. Even though no one's talking about it, as I kept digging further and further, I started finding all of these different experts who actually use the producer model to launch their own businesses. Names like Jeff Walker, who's one of the most successful online course creators out there. Barry Plaskow, who's known as the webinar guy. Nobody know, when I say that name, people are like, Barry who? No one has any idea who this guy from Israel is, because he's in the background. He just produces experts. He's in the background. He finds subject matter experts. He helps them build online programs. And he has multiple 7-figure businesses doing this. People like Ryan Lee, who use the producer model to add new 7-figure revenue streams in markets that they have nothing to do with. Because they, like Ryan Lee's an awesome example. He partnered with someone and launched a 7-figure business in the cinematography niche. Ryan Lee is a health guy and now actually just launched a line of health bars. He knows nothing. Well, he loves movies, but other than that, he's not an expert in the cinematography niche. But he partnered with someone who was, helped them build the online platform and grew it. And another masterclass. I know everyone's seeing masterclass now, just with all those celebrities and experts giving these courses. That's the perfect example of the producer model. You never see the creators of masterclass teaching. They're not the experts. They find these experts and they partner with them. In this case, because they're celebrities, they pay a little bit of money up front, but then they do an income split. They help the expert produce this course, get it online, put it out to the world. The expert uses their following and their clout to sell it, and they all make money. And that's the beauty of the producer model. You can do it in any niche with almost any type of expert, and you can make money doing it because they already have everything that we struggle as internet marketers to get. They fill in all those blanks of everything we struggle with. We just need to find the right kind of expert and join teams.
It's brilliant if you really think about it. It's merging together. To me, I've never heard until we started speaking about the producer model, and I had no idea what it was. And you're right, it's hard to find some stuff about the producer model on there. Maybe there's different forms of it, or different names that people are using for it, but it's brilliant. And everybody sees the masterclass ads. I think I just seen one this morning, really, for Steve Martin.
Yeah, I have actually Steve Martin's face on my screen capture, because I was like, Steve Martin is teaching an online course. Like, to me, it just that this is the new world. This is the way learning is going. Online course, online teaching. Here's an old dude that's not a technical I was going to say not technical genius, but that's the wrong term. Not great at technology, but someone was able to take his expert knowledge and do it for him. To me, I mean, that's the sign of hope right there. If when Steve Martin and people like that now have online courses that are selling tons and tons, that's awesome. Like this is the way learning is going. So anyone in the internet marketing world should be excited about seeing things like that.
Exactly. Let's see. Let me look and see if we have any questions, guys. Smash the heart, because Facebook loves that, evidently, more than they like the likes. And let us know how much you're liking what Roger's throwing down for you all.
And if you don't put the hearts, I won't have my validation and I'll feel sad about myself the rest of the day.
We don't want Roger to feel bad about himself.
You don't want me to be sad.
Yeah.
What I'll do, and I totally get, this is a hard thing to ask questions on because a lot of people haven't thought of this before. Like, again, when you search it, you just don't see it. And some people refer to it as just partnerships, but partnerships could be anything. And the producer model is a little more specific because it's not just, let's say, me and you partnering up to join teams and kind of like a joint venture. The producer model is very specific to finding that subject matter expert who already is great at what they do. And actually, if there aren't questions, I'll just fill some time, maybe tell people how to find the right kind of expert.
I think Shadell just said she searched the producer model in Google and nothing popped up. So
yeah, totally. There's no one talking about it. It drives me nuts because so many of these names have used it to launch their businesses, but they don't think of it because very often when you do this model, you're not doing a 6-figure launch out the gate. You're doing 5-figure launches. And people don't, that doesn't sound as sexy for some reason. So people don't talk about that. So what they do is they use the producer model. They start making 5 figures monthly over, a little consistently. And then they use that momentum to do the big 6-figure launch. And that's another thing with the producer model. What I do anytime I partner with an expert, I say, we're going to do this. We're going to split the sales, but we'll also share the list. So everyone who registers to the webinar and then buys the course, will share that list. I won't ever market to them without your approval. And I won't get into all the ways that you set it up, but basically in a nutshell, the reason I do this is I tell them, because right at first it's just them marketing it to their list. But once it's going and successful, then we'll add in maybe some ads, we'll add in other traffic. So it will be outside traffic. But I tell them flat out, I will never send an email to this list that you don't approve first or an offer. And if I sell something to the list outside of what we did with this expert, I automatically cut them in for 50% of the profits because I wouldn't have had anything without this expert. And this is just still helping to build that relationship with the expert. So let's say
another job with them.
Totally. You can keep making other products, or sometimes you just do the one and then they go on to do their own thing, other things, because maybe they find ClickFunnels and they're like, hey, this is awesome. I'm going to do it myself. I encourage that. Go for it. You go be as successful as possible, because the more successful they are, now that we have this connection and relationship, the more successful I become, because they're going to keep selling the course and I keep making money. They're going to keep referring people to me. And so what I'll do is, let's say you're struggling to launch a course and you want to teach people about keto diet, but you have no credibility. Go find an expert who teaches something like exercise. It's a complementary market, but it's not competing products. Produce them, help them launch, build up a list in that niche, get credibility just by you being attached to that expert, and then use that list to launch your own product. You've got credibility now. You've got a warm market. You have a list of buyers. And yeah, I gladly split 50% of any of those sales with that expert just as a thank you. I don't have to do that, but I get to test my product. I get to make money. I get to build up some momentum, get case studies, get testimonials. I mean, I'm singing from the rooftops at this point. I'm excited about it. So it's definitely a win-win. So what I do, the key to all of this is finding the right kind of expert. So what I do, and it's a little harder without me sharing my screen. In my video series, I share my screen and show you how to do it, but you can get a good gist like this. you want to have three things in an expert for them to be a great candidate. One, you want to know that they know how to sell to their market. This is important, that they know how to deliver content that creates change in their market. You also want to know that they have an active and engaged following. And probably the most important thing really is, they want to make money online. That's if they don't already, it's going to be you butting their heads. You don't want to have to try to convince someone of why they should get online, what an online course is. Forget that. You want to find someone who already wants it, but they just don't know how to do it. Right. So there's a real simple way to try to find these kind of experts. Go to Amazon.com, search your niche, any niche that you're interested in. Search your own, or if you've always had a passion for harp playing, you can search harp playing, whatever it is. Search whatever niche you're interested in and look for the top results that come up. Because usually the top experts that are like this, they've always got a book of some sort. These are the prime ones that I found. And look for ones with the highest number of reviews, because I don't know how many things I've consumed in my life and loved, but it's been quite a few, versus the number of 5 stars reviews I've actually left people. There's a huge disconnect. Most people that love things don't go out of the way to review it. And it's even more annoying for me because I'm in Canada. So I'll go to review things on iTunes, and it's the Canada iTunes, which I know no one cares about. So I try to log into American iTunes where I know it really matters for people. And it's a headache. So I usually end up just not doing it. Right. So if people have a lot of reviews, what they're doing is connecting. They're resonating with their market. So that's like star number 1. Bam, this person is a great candidate. So then what I do is I just click and I open up their name and I go to their website. 9 times out of 10, if they're an author, they have some sort of blog. Right. Or they have a blog or a podcast. One of those two things. They're putting content out. So there's 2 things I look for. First thing I look for is if they already have an online course. Because if they do, they're not going to want to partner with me to make another one. Now, sometimes they'll have like a $20 DVD system they sell, or a little video series, or they'll have usually an online coaching package that's like $1,000, but they don't have that kind of $100 to $300 range course that people can take. So that's the first thing I look for. Second thing I look for, if they have a blog or podcast, how are they trying to monetize it? Almost always you're going to see on a blog those stupid pop-up banners, because they're trying to make money through clicks, which are ugly and always take away from their site. Or they've got affiliate, like Amazon affiliate links, where they're trying to make a few cents a sale for people to buy products. Those things don't make a lot of money, and they make your website look ugly. Or if it's a podcast, they have a ton of weird sponsored messages, and that's fine. But wouldn't you rather be able to have a podcast and promote your own product and make a lot more money doing it? The answer is always yes. So if I see those things, I see they're trying to make money from their online presence, but they're trying to do it that way, they are a prime candidate for me to reach out and say, hey, I can help you eliminate all this stuff, advertise your own program, make a lot more money, make a much bigger impact, help a lot more people. Let's talk. They're a lot more receptive to it. So that's the first thing I do. That's how I try to find my expert. Look for those high 5-star reviews, because that means people are taking the time to interact with them, and then see how they're trying to make money online.
That's awesome. I mean, you are dropping so much value and content in here, and I know some of them are saying they need more information. So how do they get more information, and where do they find your stuff, Roger? Because evidently you're the only one with the producer model stuff.
I'm the only one just teaching it there. And again, I've taken some courses where in the background I see this little bonus training, and it's a 10-minute video talking about this partnership model. And I'm like, why is it hidden? Tell people. My whole goal is I want to give away for free enough that people can take the producer model and start running with it, because it is the answer for people. If you're struggling to make money, learn this and go try it, because I know there's a whole lot of people out there that are going to take my free content. learn the producer model and go, I'd rather fast track this, and they're going to buy my program. But there are a whole lot of people out there that would love to do that, but they legitimately are not in a position to spend any more money. And so I don't want those people to be left to the side where just because they can't buy my program, they'll never learn how to use the producer model. I'd rather them learn enough to go start making some money with it. And then they'll come back and buy my program for all the little tips and tricks and ways to make it even better and ways to scale it. So if people want, they can go to my website, click my link in my Facebook, theproducermodel.com or rogerdeveau.com. Right now, all lead to the same thing. It's my free video series where I basically walk you through the producer model. I walk you through what it is in video 1, how it works a little more in depth. Video 2, I share my screen. I think it's like a half-hour video, and I show people exactly more in depth, basically what I shared here, how to find the experts, what to look for. I show me finding a couple experts that I would reach out to. I then walk through that 3-step process of how I would reach out to them. I go a little more into what I would say in each step. And then in video 3, which we didn't have time to get in here today, I actually talk about my launch system. So how to not just partner with an expert and now go, what do I build? Am I going to build a virtual summit, an online course, an agency, e-commerce business? But I show the quickest way where you can partner with an expert and be making sales and making money within the month. It could even be less than that. The first time I followed this launch system, I took an idea with an expert and we turned it into $10,088 of sales in 28 days. So from just an idea of what we might do as a course to having the money in the bank. This isn't just launching, it's everything done, the course delivered, money in the bank within 28 days. Nice. So it helps you really get off to a fast launch. So that's video 3. And then video 4, I break down all the pillars of the producer model and what it entails. So if people want, it's free, go watch that video series. And if you have questions about it, message me on Facebook, ask me about it. I want you to succeed with it. I want you to go start building your credibility, start building your email list, start making money now, because I know how overwhelming it is to try to do all these other things. I mean, affiliate traffic, agencies, you either have to be an expert at all of these things. You always have to be an expert at generating traffic, writing copy, and making sales. You don't have to do that with the producer model. I'm excited about it. I don't know.
Another question. It says, so it doesn't matter if you don't have a following yet. I'm building my following now.
It's perfect if you don't have a following yet. In fact, I would suggest go and find experts who wouldn't be competing with what you want to grow in, but have a similar market and find an expert in that. I mean, if you're in, let's say you're in the business market, because this is one of the most saturated markets, one of the hardest ones to start building a following in, because there are so many people doing it. But you know, there are a lot of experts out there right now going into corporations and workplaces teaching mindset or teaching performance. A lot of your market that would be interested in a business opportunity are already following and learning from those experts. So go find an expert like that, produce them, build up credibility, build up a list, and that will be a solid foundation for you to then turn around and launch yourself through. So the producer model, I can't stress this enough. When I first started doing this, 0 following, like 30 emails on my list, 200 followers on social media. Like I definitely wasn't active on social media. I still barely am, just mostly in groups helping out, but no following, no credibility, no big successes behind my name, nothing. As long as you have a general understanding of how to build a basic funnel. And I'm talking, if you can take a webinar template from ClickFunnels and change the words and a picture, you know enough to do this. If you can then also do a live like this, only 2 skills you need. And if you don't have those skills, you can learn them in about a week. So if you have those skills and you follow what I taught you here, you have enough to get started with this. You have enough to at least get started and start seeing activity, and then you can keep learning as you go through the step.
All right, so let's see here. So we'll close it by telling them again, because they're asking again where they can find your links and your video series.
Cool. Well, they can just click my profile. If they click on my cover photo, I've got a link there, or they can go to rogerdeveau.com, sign up there.
Perfect. Well, Roger, this has been amazing. Everybody is loving what you're saying. And you guys, if you have any other questions, like Roger said, you know, you can hit him up on Facebook. You can comment on this video. He's tagged in it, so he'll be able to get it and answer the questions and all that. But Roger, thank you so much for being my first guest in this
I
awesome.
love being the guinea pig.
And I do appreciate it. And a lot of people are going to go, oh my gosh, the producer model. I'm kind of doing that now, but now they're gonna be like wanting to delve into it.
I get that all the time. People are like, I was kind of doing something like this, but at least now they can have a systemized way to approach it.
Exactly. So guys, look up Roger, get in on that free video series. He's got a lot to offer. He's got more to offer than the 45 minutes that we had set aside for him. So we may have Roger back later and talk a little bit more and get in deeper. And if y'all have the questions coming, we'll bring them back and we'll talk some more.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. Just even a live Q&A. It'd be fun.
That'd be great. All right. Thank you so much, Roger. You guys tune in next for, let's see here. Rachel Lee is next. So tune in next. We'll see you all later. Thank you, Roger. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kathy.